So that's why at 21 years old, I said, God's dead. Because he was. He was dead to me after everything he did to me. I was done with him forever. I was done with God forever. After everything he put me through at 21, and I'm 30, and he's put me through so much worse stuff in that 9 years. I mean, I can't even, there's so many things. There's just so many things that he did to me. You know, and I don't really like to think about it or talk about it a lot because it hurts. It hurts to start to really think about the compounded pain that he put me through. And, you know, that's why I say I always felt like I was pranked. Like I thought somebody was going to come out and be like, you're pranked, which is actually what happened. You know, he's like, oh, yeah, I was putting you through all that for lessons, Lauren. I'm like, wow. You are cruel. You are not what this Bible says you are. You are not what these people say you are. You are cruel. And then you learn about slavery. And you're like, and these people call you all loving? And people still find faith in you after all the stuff you did to them? And it's because we have no choice. It's that or die. It's that or lose hope. That's the thing that privileged people who love God so much, Mr. Charlie Kirk, don't understand. Is that God gave them everything. And they chose hatred. And they chose all of these things in the name of him. To hurt people, to cause people more pain and suffering. Because they simply don't understand it. And then you look at God and you're like, how can you allow this? For so long. I needed answers. That's why I got the channels I did. I needed fucking answers. I could not live. I couldn't keep living. And even with the answers he's given me, I still have days where I'm like, I really don't want to live. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to stick around in this meat suit and wait this shit out and do all this shit and wait for your I mean, the miracles are great, right? But that's the thing about it. Even though I'm certain it's coming, it's like, I don't really want to stick around. I don't want to keep existing like this. But I have no choice. And I've come too far. And that's literally how I get through my reality. And it's brutal. And it sounds horrible. And people panic when you say stuff like that. They're like, oh no, you need to go get help. I'm like, no. Nothing of this world can help me. I wish I have tried to get help from this world, but nothing in this world could possibly get rid of this. Could possibly get rid of the way that my brain thinks. Could possibly get rid of the life that I've lived. You know, and that's what's so horrible about the entire mental health system is they put the fault onto you, but the fault's on God. At least I have that now. At least I have God back, and I can blame him now. Because when I didn't have him, I didn't have anything to blame except for the people. You know? And I could have lived the rest of my life blaming people. But that's why God forced me back here. So I could see the patterns of why I really can't blame them, even though they're causing the pain. They are stuck. They're stuck in mentalities because they are way too afraid to do something about it, to change, because of the conditioning of this place. And you're just like, okay, well, then we need something miraculous to come incentivize these people to decondition this. I've had no choice but to change. And I've learned from people's mistakes. I've learned from my own mistakes too, and it's just sad because all the pain that I had in my life led me to self-sabotage then. So on top of all the pain I had, I was blaming myself because this place told me to. And people were denying that they were causing me pain. So then it was my fault for having a reaction to the pain that I was going through. And because nobody wanted to change, it became my fault. I became the scapegoat then. Because, that's the only other possible solution is something's wrong with you, right? And that's why God owes us. Big time owes us. It's not just little time, big time owes us. But he makes you sit and wait. Because he wants you. That's the thing, is the people who are sitting around and waiting right now for his miracles, his change, his promises. He wants you to feel like what it felt like before he created, so you can understand why he created darkness too. That's what that's what I've come to understand, because before creation came thought. And I think what happened with God is that he had this ability to create all of this. This was the potential that was inside of him, or whatever it was, contained in his thoughts. And there's a period before creation that he just sat there. I get the creation story of Sophia and stirring and all that stuff. She sat in this presence, in this stirring. And then she created creation. She created physical matter. And then this is the result of that. And you're just like, well, why would you ever do that? And it's like, well, because of that pain of waiting. That pain, it's painful. It's painful to have potential and not use it. So I do believe that pain was the origin of creation. I don't think it was love. I don't think it was beauty. I think it was pain that caused creation. And the goal and what God wanted was love and the beautiful, magical parts of it. But that's not the universe that we exist in. We exist in a universe where energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just is. So if you create a loving energy, you have to create the opposite of that in order to balance out the energies. So there was no options. But the option of sitting in potential no longer became worth it. And pain became worth it then. And that's what we're experiencing right now. We're experiencing that death. That dark part before we get to the good part. But it's excruciating. That's how I know we're in hell. I'm convinced. I'm convinced of all the things God's told me, but I'm not happy, Pain sucks. It's horrible. It's the worst part of being a soul, is pain. but it's also the only thing that teaches you anything.